Hi, my name is Becca. Welcome back to Raising Them Simply. Here we share all about our secular homeschool as a family of 5. Today we're going to be chatting about an January-February update for my current second grader. So if you are new here, I have a second grader, a preschooler, a toddler, and another one on the way. I'm also a part-time working mom as a nurse, so this channel is all things homeschool and how we make it work for our family. So if any of that interests you at all, please hit that subscribe button so you're notified of future videos. But let's jump into it. I did just do a video with an update on just my preschooler, so if you missed that and you're interested, I will leave that video link down below for you. But there's just been a lot with the last two in the last couple months, so I split up the videos just to make it so that it wasn't so long or anything for you guys. So first we are going to talk about build your library. So we're doing ancients this year, and we just got done learning about the Paleolithic and Neolithic time eras, sorry, and we use History Quest for this curriculum. My son enjoys the history hops. He thinks the stories of when they're going back in time and they're interacting with people are great. It's a little more dry when it comes to the rest of the chapters, and I'm having a hard time with him really absorbing everything from it without having to pull more books and videos than what Build Your Library recommends. So we actually took a brief pause before we go into the next section because I had found a bunch of books. I just went on Google AI and typed in books for second grader in the Neolithic time period, and I had a bunch of recommendations come up, and I'm waiting for those books from the library. I have to do a lot of probing with him to figure out what he's actually absorbing and understanding, and I don't expect him to understand everything, but I do want him to have, you know, an okay grasp on what we read. So I'm waiting for those books from the library to read through with them, but overall we're enjoying the Build Your Library so far. I just wish that I knew ahead of time that I had to pull in more books for him. So we've been doing that, and then this curriculum also uses a child through time, which is great. Right now the only one that we have learned about is Taya. But what's great about this book is that they take a child from every time period and they talk about how they lived, what food they ate, where they lived, what games they like to play, and it really makes this a lot more tangible and understandable for kids so that they have someone else to relate to. This is, of course, a DK book. So we've been loving that. And this curriculum also continues to use the Encyclopedia of World History, which we have no problems with this. I love this book and the pictures and stuff that are involved, and how detailed these pictures are. My son really enjoys this book. And so we've been doing a new sort of schedule when it comes to our schooling, which has been working really well. So we're doing this curriculum is 5 days a week. We're doing it in 4, but we have 2 of those days be our really heavy literature days. And then the other 2, we're focusing on other stuff with the curriculum, which has been going really well so far. Build Your Library has a lot that they cover. So let's see, you have history readings, mythology, poetry, literature, science, which we're not doing through them, but they have a science section, art, language arts where they do copy work or narration cards, and then you're just having to add math. So the thing with this curriculum is that you don't really have to add a bunch of other things to it because it's an all-in-one curriculum. We do, but that does make it because we do more than just build your library, we have to condense some things here and there. So overall, we're liking that so far. We're just needing to add a little bit of extra stuff, like I said. So with the copy work, my son, let me grab his book. We just have this book here that I got a couple years ago. It's just blank lined paper, and we've been doing more copy work with him, and he's been really surprising me with his copy work. We're making a really big intention the last couple of months on really solidifying that. So this is some copy work that he did from the Tale of Despero, and it says, he was, alas, a mouse deeply in love. So that's been going really well. The Tale of Despero, he loved that book. I'm sure it's hard to find a book that's appropriate for his age. It had nothing to do with the Neolithic or Paleolithic era. They just wanted to add a chapter book. I will say that if you are looking into that book, because I've had a few people ask what I thought about it, my son loves it, but my son is not a sensitive learner. And there are some harsher topics in there that I could understand other parents wanting to stay away from. There's some things, some adults not being very kind to children, and there is a lot of death and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the core of the story is about having hope and falling in love and things like that. So my son loved it. My preschooler, I read it when she was around. She really wasn't paying attention to it. But the parts that she did listen in on, she enjoyed. We're actually tonight going to be making soup and watching the movie, because soup was outlawed in this book, and then it comes back, and so we're gonna have soup for dinner tonight and watch the movie. So we're looking forward to that. But that is our history / literature stuff with Build Your Library. Oh, and then I wanted to mention they have narration cards. And so what they do is they have a bunch of slips of paper where you can cut out and you fold up and put it into a cup, and they're supposed to be prompting things to help your child, instead of just having to orally narrate to you everything that they read, as a different way to kind of engage with the material. So we actually only did it one time. But the one that we did do was he drew a picture of, this is the king from the Tale of Despero, and here's the big fancy door and the little mouse door. And the king is supposed to be scaring Despero away because he doesn't like that there's a mouse in his castle. And then he just explained to me the picture, and I wrote it on the back and wrote the date. So it took some prompting to get him to do this, but he did a really great job. So we'll try to do more of those narration cards, but as you're going to see, we're pushing a lot more of other language arts stuff right now, and so that's why we haven't done so much of that. But I'm hoping that we can do more of that here in the next month or so. With that, they do poetry, and they're using the National Geographic Big Book of Nature Poetry. They're doing this as poetry memorization. I don't know how they're doing that, because some of these poems are really long and have complicated words. This is the first poem. There's no way my children would have this memorized, but I'm not really focusing on having them memorize poetry. I understand that there's benefits to it. I just want to get my kids exposed to poetry and new words and vocabulary and stuff that we maybe don't already use, and we just talk about the poetry. So this takes about 10 to 15 minutes. This is something we do with my preschooler, and she's been able to be engaged with it. And then there's also an artist study with it. So there's actually 2 different books in this curriculum. We just haven't opened the other one yet because it was not scheduled yet, but this is 13 artists children should know. And then they have 13 art techniques that every child should know. This would actually be great if you wanted to do your own unit study. This would be a great option for that. But we did Leonardo da Vinci first. So, of course, we talked about the Mona Lisa, and what I do is I read the page, we study the picture. I take the picture away and then they have to describe as much as they can remember from the picture. And so we did Leonardo da Vinci. And then we talked about Jan Vermeer. And what I do is at the library, I will get 1 or 2 books if I can find them that are age appropriate on the artist, and we will read it in our school. And then I will play 1 or 2 videos on YouTube for my kids to watch on them. And that's been going really well. Next is language arts, which is probably the most change that we've had over the last couple months. If you're new here, my oldest has dyslexia, and so reading was a real struggle. And when we were going through those struggles, I wasn't worried about handwriting or spelling or anything like that, because we just needed to focus on the one thing with him. Focusing on anything else was too much, to the point where if we did reading one day, we couldn't even really do any other lessons for our other subjects because it just used so much brain power. So I don't regret the way that we handled it. He's now reading close to a 4th grade reading level, which is fantastic. He's doing amazing. But now we're kind of playing catch up on all these other things, because as we're approaching our 3rd grade year, there's a lot more that's going to be expected from him. And so we are adding some more things. He also expressed to me that he wishes that he said he's not a writer and that he can't write things because he doesn't know how to write. And that's not acceptable. He wants to be able to do more of these things. And so I want to be able to help him do that, but he's a little impatient when it comes to the process. So we're adding some new stuff in. So the first thing that we did was we added, I kind of talked about this in our last update, but this is a curriculum that I got on Teachers Pay Teachers. It is a spelling curriculum meant for kids with dyslexia, but it really makes them slow down and take apart words and find out what a vowel is and what a vowel sounds like by a vowel makes you do a certain shape of your mouth, and that's how you can figure out if it's a vowel or not, which really resonated with him. Figuring out how many syllables a word has. And then as it moves on, see if I can find one of his examples here. You'll have a word and you need to write down the beginning and ending sound, the vowel sound, and then the word family at the end. And it's been really helpful, and it's helped build his confidence a lot. But it's moving very slow for him. And so we are going to continue to do this once or twice a week instead of doing it every day like we were, because this does get more complex. And I know when we start to learn spelling words that have word chunks like CH, or what's the difference between writing it with a C and a K and things like that, that this is going to be really helpful for him. So we're going to continue doing this, but we did add another spelling for him. And this is recent, just in the last week or so, but we're just going to do a spectrum spelling, the grade 2. I looked through grade 1 and it would be way too easy for him and just be frustrating. But our goal is that we're going to do 1 or 2 pages of this per day. So this workbook was only a couple bucks on Amazon, which is why we purchased it. It gets the job done. So it has, at the beginning of the week, it has a group of spelling words. So this first week had has, man, ham, hat, pan, mad, as, jam, bad, and pat. I did this as a spelling test. So I gave him his writing workbook that I showed you, and we did dictation, and I just said the word out loud to him and he spelt it, and he did all of them except for as correctly. So that gave me a really good baseline going into the rest of the week on what words we're going to focus on. And then each lesson has sort of like a decoding type game. So this one is to write the missing spelling words to finish the rhyme. So he has the list of the spelling words here, but then this says, my dad is a blank, and he had to write in man. He has a pet cat. And so it just kept going on, and he had to try to figure out what word needed to go into it. This one he really enjoyed. They had a misspelled word section, so there was 5 different sentences here, and he needed to circle the incorrect spelling word and then write it correctly, and he just got a kick out of it. So this one was put away my coat and heat, and he had to write down, so he circled down heat and wrote hat down instead. So he had a lot of fun with this. Like I said, this is just a couple of bucks, very inexpensive. It's what his grade level, what he's supposed to be knowing by the end of the year. And as I was looking at what our curriculum picks are going to be for next year, he needed to have more language arts stuff, because he doesn't know how to write a sentence or anything like that, because that just wasn't a priority up until this point, because we had other struggles we had to address first. So I actually purchased the Spectrum Language Arts one for grade 2 as well, which is going to help us do like writing sentences and into like a simple paragraph and stuff like that. In Minnesota, there is testing required, and so he's going to have to do that by the end of this summer as well. So I'm trying to keep some of that stuff in mind. And he's expressing that he wants to be able to do more of that stuff. So that's why, another reason why we're pursuing it. So we did add this in, and it's going to be another week or so before that other workbook gets delivered to our house. So I will let you guys know on how that goes. But so far, what we're doing for spelling is working really well. We do all about reading when it comes to learning to read. He just finished lesson 32 today, so we are more than halfway done. And I am just so, every time we do a reading lesson, I'm just so impressed with his reading, because this is the reading that he did today. And I mean, this is just, it's a lot of writing per page. His thing is that he wants to try to read quickly, and so we have to slow down, because when he does it quickly, he misses words sometimes. But the fact that he read all this just blew my mind, and he comprehended it so well. I can't say enough good things about reading. It's just been so good for our homeschool. So this is still going great. Before we started the spelling, we needed to work on our handwriting. And so I think I had mentioned that I had purchased this handwriting book off Amazon, either here or on Instagram. I had mentioned it. This is just a kindergarten, first grade level handwriting book. I'm just getting him to focus on making sure lower cases are below the dash line and that we're writing this neatly. This does not have to be anything too big of a deal, but when we were doing copy work, he was putting capital letters and random spaces, or it just wasn't neat. And so we're working on this. He likes this because there's cool animal facts in here. He doesn't actually do the coloring pages, but it says, you know, did you know that platypuses are one of the only mammals in the world that lay eggs instead of giving birth? He loves this. So we're going to continue with this. My goal is, you know, we're doing 2 pages of this a day. It's not going to take that long, but I wanted to solidify and get more of this neater, because next year we're going to be working on cursive. And because we're doing a lot more language arts stuff, I needed him to really hone in on this to make it neat, because he will continue to work on his regular printing next year in his language arts curriculum that we are doing. So he'll get plenty of practice, but we're going to move into cursive next year. So I just wanted us to work on this a little bit more. Then we've got his morning menu. Calendar work is the big thing that we're working on with him. This has been going so much better. It's only because I was not consistent with his menu, honestly, just because there was so much pushback on it, and I just didn't have the energy on it. He thinks it's a little silly. There's not as much pushback anymore on it because he's doing really well. But he just felt silly still doing it at 7.5 years old, and we just had to get over it. So on the whiteboard here, I'll write the full date, and then he needs to circle the correct date here on his menu, and then, you know, write in what the month is, what today is, yesterday was, tomorrow. These sheets came from the Purposeful Preschool curriculum that my younger one is doing. So he will do this, and then I will write the date the opposite way with blanks. So I'll do a blank line, dash, blank line, dash, blank line, and he will have to fill out the number for the month, the date, and the year on there, and he has to do it correctly. Next couple of pages in here, I'm not going to share with you just for privacy reasons, but he's been going over our address and mine and my husband's phone number, and writing his full name correctly and neatly without random capital letters. And that's been going really well. We're solidifying more of those concepts more and more, which makes me happy. This we are doing as a group subject just for the winter. It's our weather and natural disasters units. So far we've done what is weather versus what is climate, hurricanes, volcanoes, and the water cycle. A lot of this stuff my son already knows, but the whole reason why we're doing it as a group subject is because we could talk about when things come to our area, like fires or tornadoes or things like that. What do we do in those cases? So more like emergency preparedness. Where do we go when there's a tornado, that type of thing. So we will just read one of the concepts in here, and then if I have a couple of books that are appropriate for him, we'll read them. If not, we just watch a video and we move on. So we just do it one day a week, and it's been working well. And then we've got our anger management book. We're also using this as a group subject for all of us. This has been going really well. I've been really pleased with this, and has opened really good discussion points. They do make other workbook styles like this with different topics, like ADHD is the one that comes to mind, but I do plan on us doing something like this every year now with a different topic, maybe one or two of them, depending on what I find. The last thing is that we are using this jar system that we figured out from Mary Barfield on our one-room schoolhouse, or your one-room schoolhouse. And every day that he has a good day of school without a lot of pushback or fighting or anything like that, he gets a pom-pom in his jar. When he fills it up to the point where when you tip it upside down, the pom-poms don't move, he can get $5, a Yoto card, or a new book from the store. He was thrilled to be able to pick out a new Yoto card because he filled this up in the last couple months. And so this has been going really well. It's been a really good motivator for our school. So I'm really glad. Thank you, Mary, for bringing that up and sharing that, because it's been working really well for our school. All right, so that is everything for my second grader. We've made quite a few changes, but they're all good changes, and things are going well in our school. So I'm just hoping we just keep on with this momentum, and we'll see how the next couple of months go. But I feel like we're finally getting into the groove. I think that's one of the problems, especially because we didn't start the Build Your Library Ancients curriculum until a month or so ago, because we were doing the prehistory. So it feels like we're just starting our school year and working out some of those kinks. But I think we're in a good rhythm right now, and everything is working really smoothly. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me know what kind of videos you like to see on this channel. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how your last couple months have been going and what your plans are for next year if you're planning that far ahead. Hit that subscribe button. It is a free way for you to be notified of future videos, and I can't wait to catch you guys next time. Bye.